You ever have that moment where you say something to a woman, maybe just a quick compliment, and suddenly her entire demeanor changes? She leans in a little closer, her eyes soften. She smiles in a way that tells you, you just said the right thing. And it wasn't some cheesy pickup line. It wasn't rehearsed or robotic. It was real, natural, and powerful. That's what this video is about. Not just compliments, but the kind of words that make a woman feel seen, understood, and drawn to you in a way she might not even understand. Stick around, because once you get this, everything about how you connect with women is going to change. So, I was out with a friend a few weeks ago. We were at this local coffee spot, kind of a hidden gem, tucked behind this old bookstore. The vibe was chill, low lighting, quiet jazz playing, couples sitting close, just talking. And then she walked in. Not in some slow-motion movie scene way. No spotlight. No dramatic entrance. But something about her, maybe the way she carried herself, or the way she glanced at the menu like she'd been here 100 times, it just caught my attention. My buddy leans over and says, "You gonna say something?" And I didn't have a pickup line ready. I didn't even really think. I just noticed something. She had this small tattoo on her wrist, barely visible, looked like a sketch of a compass. So when she came near, I looked at her and said, "That compass, does it point to where you've been? Or where you're going?" She looked up at me, blinked, and then smiled. Not polite, not shallow, but like I'd just stepped into a part of her world no one else saw. That moment, that is the power of a real compliment, because it wasn't about looks. It wasn't about charm. It was about curiosity, connection. The mistake most guys make? They think compliments are just about flattery. Tell her she's beautiful. Tell her she's hot. Hope that gets you somewhere. But every guy's doing that. She's heard it 100 times. What she hasn't heard? Something that reflects who she is, not what she looks like. Something that makes her pause. Because no one's ever noticed it before. Like this one time I was talking to a girl who always seemed put together. Like, scary organized. Always had her schedule down to the minute. Color-coded folders, even her phone apps were in perfect order. But underneath that, there was this soft anxiety. Like if she didn't control every detail, everything might fall apart. So I looked at her, mid-conversation, and I said, "You know, I think people misunderstand you. They see the structure, the lists, and think you're just type A. But I think it's your way of protecting the softest parts of yourself." Her mouth literally dropped open. It wasn't a line. It wasn't something I planned. It was just something I saw in her. And you better believe that stuck with her. Here's the thing. Compliments, real compliments, don't come from memorization. They come from observation. You've got to slow down. You've got to look closer. Most guys are too busy trying to impress, trying to be smooth. But women don't fall for smooth. They fall for real. One night, I was at this dinner party. Small. Crowd. Everyone sipping wine, laughing, telling stories. And across from me was this woman who barely spoke all night. Not because she wasn't confident, but because she was the kind of person who listens deeply. You could tell, when she looked at you, she wasn't just hearing your words. She was absorbing them. So I waited until most people had left, and I said, "You have this way of making people feel like they're the only one in the room. I don't know if you realize how rare that is." Her eyes welled up, not from sadness, from recognition, because that's what real compliments do. They don't just make someone feel flattered, they make someone feel understood. And here's the truth, most dating advice never tells you. A woman doesn't fall for a man just because he's confident or good-looking or successful. She falls because, somewhere in the chaos of life, he makes her feel safe enough to be herself. That safety? It starts with attention. It starts with noticing the things she hides, noticing the things she doesn't even know she's showing. You compliment those things. The way she lights up when she talks about something she loves, the way she makes space for others in a conversation, The fact that she laughs when she's nervous instead of crying. And suddenly, you're not just another guy. You're someone she remembers. You know what I've learned? The strongest compliments aren't loud. They're not shouted in bars or written in all caps in DMs. They're quiet, gentle, almost whispered, but they hit like thunder because they come from presence, from seeing her, really seeing her, not just the dress, not just the makeup, but the woman inside. And when she feels that, she can't help but be drawn to you, not because you manipulated her, not because you tricked her, but because you spoke to something real. Let me tell you something. You don't need to be a poet. You don't need to have the perfect words. You just need to care enough to notice, to look at her like there's something worth discovering. And when you find it, don't keep it to yourself. Say it. Say the thing no one else has noticed. Say the thing she's been waiting her whole life to hear. Because when you do, that's when the magic happens. That's when she leans in a little closer. That's when her guard drops. And that's when you go from being just another guy to someone she can't forget. So the next time you're with a woman and you feel that spark, don't reach for some line you saw on TikTok. Don't try to be someone you're not. Just slow down. Pay attention. And when you see something real, something beautiful, not on the outside, but within her, tell her. Because that's a compliment she'll carry with her, long after the moment's gone. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, you know what to do. I'll see you in the next one.